Hello racing fans and a warm welcome to our Gallop TV Preview Show for this Friday. It is Friday the 17th of September. Can you believe it? Half the month is gone. And we're racing in Fairview where it is Kabeja. And what is happening there? Well, we race on the poly track. We've got ace races carded. It looks like a highly competitive lineup. But we got a man that's in hot form, and that's our analyst who is Grant Paddock. Grant, whilst I say good day to you or good evening to you, we'll say good morning to you because we don't know what time our viewers are watching this, but to you, a very good morning. What a week last week. I had the pleasure of doing the show with you. I must compliment you. Your top bet of the day, Acorn won. Your value bet, Pomodoro Magic, came through. And then the big one was the big fella. We asked you about the money, and you were spot on. So it was a wonderful day's tipping, and hopefully it was a wonderful day's racing for you.
Yeah, these morning punters here was a great week last week. A really good Friday. Well done to the Mitchley yard. You know, it's so good to get one of those behind you. It reminds me of the good old days when I was training. So it was excellent. Yeah, a lovely day, Dees. But I must tell you, it's going to be a different kettle of fish this Friday. That's for sure.
I just want to touch on that. You know, when you say the good old days, because I've been in the game now, 23 years, Grant. I've missed the heydays of the game, but still, during my time, you don't see, coups like that landed these days where horses are backed in from big odds and they arrive. But your transparency was much appreciated, and we need more of that in the game.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dees. It's, anything to help the punters. It's a difficult game at best of the time, and if we can help when the stable money is on, I'll do my best for that.
Thanks a lot, Grant Paddock. Well, we got 8 races carded, and I must agree with Grant. We hope to try and get it right this week because it looks really tough. 12:40 will be the start of race number 1. It's over 1,300 meters. It is the start of the bipod. I see Devon Ashby is not riding, should I say, and I'll give you some of his jockey replacements at the time of recording. But horses in single figures, Grant, number 1 at 22-10, 2 at 5-1, 3 at 2-1, 4 at 8-1, 8 at 8-1, and this runner here, I see we'll wait, and a replacement there for horse number 8, which is Devon Ashby's mount. Okay, Grant, I'm just looking at these 2 runners, numbers 1 and 2. They'll be debuting in the province, and number 3 has had 2 good runs on the surface.
Yeah, these first timers you always got to respect, especially in the maidens. I did make this horse the 3-horse launch code. My best bet on the card. He's had 2 very good runs. I know they're going to be putting the blinkers on pre-race. His work is in the blinkers has been very good. One concern is definitely going to be the draw. There's a lot of talk on the ground for the 1-horse here. These I put my feelers out, and they came back with the 1-horse being an aeroplane. So we've got to be very careful when it comes to having a punt on the head on the 3. Got to respect the 1. Strong yard, strong jockey. I'm still going to stick with the 3-horse to beat the 1, Donny T to run 3rd, and Graduation Time to run 4th. I think it's a boat race between the 1 and the 3.
1 and the 3 for Grant in the bipod, and I think he's given us some valuable information on number 1. I will tell you on Hollywoodbets, Grant, that number 5 has been back from 20-1 into 14-1, and the jockey replacement on number 9 will be Marco van Rensburg. Race number 2, start of the place accumulator. It's over 1,600 meters. It's a maiden plate for fillies and mares. How they're betting: number 1, Sky Velocity, is at 7-2. Number 2, Turn the Beat Around. First run for Gavin Smith, that's at 28-10. 3 at 7-1. Number 7 at 4-1. And then number 8 at 7-1. In race number 2, Sky Velocity, Hollywoodbets has been back from 7-2 into 3-1. So take note of that. And the place accumulator, it looks like a very tricky race here, Grant, unless you know something about horse number 2, Turn the Beat Around, who does bring some fair Gauteng form to the province.
Yes, Dean. A lot of talk on the ground for the new horse. Unfortunately drawn out at 9, but there's definitely talk on the ground. Coming back from a 130-day layoff, but Gavin Smith will have it ready, I can tell you that. I still do feel Sky Velocity is definitely the horse to beat. Coming out of that public benefit form line, very, very strong form line. 2 direct winners out of 7 runners. Public benefit now sitting at merit rate at 89. She won her next start as well. Very hard horse to beat, the one. I think 3 to 1 is actually decent value in this maiden plate. The 2 turn the beat around should be there just on what the talk on the ground, and I believe this horse Ponderosa Pine is getting some equipment changes, and that will be working up a storm at the moment at home. Captivates is on the improve, and those 4 horses should get you the quartet, but I'm definitely in the camp of the 1 Sky Velocity. The place accumulator, you probably get away with 1 and 2.
1 and 2 for the place accumulator should be good enough here, but if you want to play trifectas and quartets, Grant has given you a nice roughie there. Number 5, Ponderosa Pine, and don't leave out number 7, Captivate. Nice way to sum that up. Then the start of the big one, it's the pick 6, and this is usually the bet you want to try and chase, but it's difficult whenever we race anywhere in the country. Race number 3, 1,600 meters. Get your bets on by 13.50, 10 to 2. Now, the betting here, Grant, is as follows. Number 6 at 5 to 1. Number 8 at 11 to 2. 10 at 7 to 1. The Charioteer, number 11, Hollywoodbets, has been backed from 6 to 1 into 5 to 1. And then number 14, Grand Destiny, is at 9 to 2. When I had a look at it, Grant, I thought that, Kelly Mitchley seems to have a very strong hand with both her runners. But I'm pushed to, choose one or the other. But if I had to, maybe the Mount of Muzieni could be the right one, number 14.
The Mitchley Yard definitely got the upper hand here. There's no doubt with the 2 runners, Bow Color and Grand Destiny. The big factor here is there's a big headwind coming through tomorrow, Dees, and Bow Color is a filly who likes to go and stretch her legs. She'll probably do the same from a 1 draw. That might play into the hand of the stable companion, Grand Destiny, who's drawn out at 10, is probably going to have to be given a bit of a chance. So those 2 definitely runners that are going to be in the pick 6, as well as the place accumulator. A horse like Euphoric, definitely holding solid form. Robert Carty up from a decent draw has got to be there. Path of choice I'm not too keen on, but you got that Richard Fourie factor. I don't know if he's going to get a mile in a headwind. It might be a bit of a question mark. And then the Charioteer, I know the stable think a hell of a lot about this horse. He beat Launch Code actually last time out, so you can have a look at that form in the first race. But I know the stable do think a lot of him. And he won a decent race when he did win, so he's probably going to have to go in. But I think you're right on the Muzieni horse there. I went 14 from 6, 4 and 3, and in the pick 6, you're going to have to add the 6 and the 8.
What about horse number 13? Am I way off here? I see Pumi Mjoko has picked up the ride. On that last start, can we pass this one by?
Draw 14, you can pass it by, Dees.
I like it. When Grant, he just doesn't mince his words. And that is it. So the race could be won by the Kelly Mitchley Yard, but Grant is giving you a few more runners there. He's picked out a few runners that you can include in the pick 6, but maybe Muzieni could be the right horse from the Mitchley Yard in race number 3. The 4th race is over 1,600 meters. Number 1 is at 7 to 1. Number 3 is at 7 to 1. 4 is at 5 to 1. 7, Fairy Night, 18 to 10. And then it is double figures, the balance. I'll tell you what, Grant, I went for the Equus Awards up in Gauteng, and the CEO of For Racing, Fundi Sitebe, in her speech, she was talking about horses all over the country, and she said, the horse, I forget the number, but she said the horse to have had the most runs last season in the entire country was El Romiachi. He's a workhorse. He's an iron horse. He's a soldier, isn't he? I forget the number that she gave, but she said he's the horse that had the most runs.
Yeah, Iron Horse is a very good description of this boy. Absolute ATM. Bring him racing, he'll bring you a check. I've actually tipped him to win this race, Dees. It was a very good last run. Hopefully he can put 2 runs together, but he seems to be holding his form. Stables not quite firing, but they're getting there. And then the young horse Fairy Night is just one of those situations that 3-year-old running out in Hope and Company for the first time. But he's a very decent horse. I think I would have preferred him on the grass track, actually, even though he has one on the poly. A very decent colt, and he can finish his races off. But there's a couple of hard knockers here. Even Central City got a decent chance, and there's been early money for a horse from the Tara Lang yard. I haven't heard anything. A horse called number 4, Lord Varis. So you have to take that into consideration. And I found a bit of an upset here in the likes of Prince Vian. He's a horse that goes well on the surface, and he's down in class. A decent run last time out. He just needed it, and I think he could produce a decent run. But a tricky kind of a race, these. You're going to have to go, unfortunately, a little bit wider here. I've gone El Romiachi from the career force, Fairy Night, and then the one horse, which is Central City and Lord Varis. Big 6, unfortunately, you're going to have to add 2 more, the likes of Prince Vian and Indie View.
Yeah, just very early in the new season, Grant, and we'll have to, just keep a very close eye on these young horses coming through with regards to their ratings, etc. But this horse is given a high mark of a 93. I mean, the handicapper thinks a bit about him, number 7, Fairy Night.
Yeah, Dees, it's been like that. We've had, I think, 3 of the youngsters come out, of the top youngsters, and one last week won really, really well, Luna Halo, and she's definitely a filly that's going to be travelling for Alan and doing very well. But the previous one, Joy of Peace, got rolled over, and you got to really have a look at them, see where they are in the handicaps before you can go head down. But this horse, Very Nice, a decent horse, part of the Halo stable syndicate, and you'll have a huge following race day, and hopefully for them Fairy Night can pull it off.
Yeah, it's either the young 3-year-old or wide, as Grant mentioned, but I like his thought process here, especially with number 4, Lord Varis. Keep an eye on that. That could come up and possibly win first time out. Go on to race number 5, 1,300 meters, fillies and mares. What's it? A 66 handicap, Grant, and this is the way they're betting here in race number 5. Yep, we got a 3-year-old filly back for more, and she is carrying 61 kgs here. She's priced up at 22 to 10. Then on to number 5, Global Goddess at 8 to 1. We then move along to horse number 8 at 33 to 10. 9 is at 6 to 1, and 12 will be the mount of Pumim Jokwa now. Devon Ashby not riding, carrying 53.5. That is trading at 14 to 1. I actually took the betting down for that horse, Grant, in Kalansinzi, because that's my roughie in the race, number 12.
Yeah, D's got a chance, eh? I must say it has got a chance. 1,300 meter poly, half decent draw. Unfortunately, solid headwind tomorrow, and that's not going to play into its hands. She's a filly who likes to stretch her legs out there, and might work against her, the solid headwind. A lot of talk for the 10 horse here, Angel C. She's holding solid form since she's joined the yard of Montana Turner, who had a winner last week. Well done to her there. Ikembula Besivizani, the 9 with Yeni up. They went far too quick last time out, and they cut throats up front, and she was just wanting that last length, but I'm sure Muzi will get the pace right on that. I've actually tipped her to win this race. I think the winner will come from her or Global Goddess, another filly who ran on well last time out behind Esther in the trip short of her best with Kumala from a decent draw. I'm not too keen on the one, I must be honest with you. Young horse carrying 61 kilos against some hard-knocking fillies, probably back end of quartets for me, D's. I've gone 9, 5, 1, 10. That's the way I've done it, and I think Muzi could get this right on Ikembula Besivizani.
Yeah, I like your thought process as well there. Kebo Labesifasane, number 9, is going to be your top choice there, trading at around 6 to 1. And that could be some value there in race number 5. And we move along to race number 6. It's over 1,000 meters. It's a fillies and mares 70 handicap. And what is happening here? Well, I've got a bet that I like here, Grant, but I don't know if you're going to agree. But I'm looking at the betting firstly. Number 2, Golden Pacific, 7-2. Number 3, Hasta La Vista Baby, 16-10. That's been backed into 13-10. There's money on Hollywood Bets. Number 5, Crew of Ice. That horse is partnered by Muzi Yeni, and again, the very informed stable of Kelly Mitchley. 7 is Symbol of Love, who is holding form nicely. So is number 8, Isn't It Bliss, and then it is double figures, the balance. Grant, before I tell you my horse, if I was to ask you for a value bet in this race, not your top choice, a value bet, which horse would it be?
Definitely number 5, Crew of Ice. He's undoubtedly working up a storm at home, and really, I think she'll be in the top 3.
Bullseye. That's the horse that I thought could be the selection here. But we're not going to discount the chances of these young horses. This filly, Hasta La Vista Baby, what you made of that debut win? I mean, she made that field look ordinary.
Yeah, she won in absolute canter. Beat Amazing Colors. Amazing Colors is unfortunately still a maiden, but she won well and she won in a good time, and those are the 2 positives. Been on the surface, decent draw, top jock, the money's down, you have to respect. I wouldn't bank her. I would definitely add in the 5 in the pick 6, and I would also definitely add in the 8, Isn't It Blitz, who's holding solid form. But I'm expecting a big run from Groova. She will bring her work and she'll make them run. Golden Pacific, unfortunately drawn out at 8 with 60.5 on her back, not going to be easy. But this is going to be a very nice fillies race, Dees, and it's going to be very good to see Groove Ice and Hasta La Vista Baby going at it.
Yeah, I like your thinking again. Race number 6. Well, the way Grant is managing to narrow things down, it's a big help, because I must be honest, when I first had a look at the card, I said, absolute nightmare. Don't know what's going to be done, how much these exotics are going to cost, but you helped to reduce the perm thus far, Grant. Race number 7, 1,200 meters, merit weighted 86 handicap. Now, the betting in this race, number 3 at 7-1, number 4 at 3-1, number 5 is at 9-2. I see Chase Mojine has got the rider, number 7. 8 is at 11-2, 9 at 7-1, and then it is 10-1 and better the balance. Can we narrow this down? How many horses, or is it a field race?
No, it's not a field race, Dees. I've narrowed it down to 4 horses, 3, 4, 5, and the roughie, the 6, Putin's Promise. I must tell you, this horse ran in a decent race last time out. He went very hard early and just needed a run. I'll tell you, I don't know what price he is, but definitely solid value. He'll go out there strong. He's a big horse. He takes a hold, and the short straight and the poly surface will definitely suit him. He has run 2 lengths off them off the poly before, so he's been on the surface in KwaZulu-Natal. Cool winter. I see there's money for him again. There's money for him every time he comes to the race course. He's been very disappointing. Alan thought he would have won by now. The one run to Great Melody was a good run, and he hasn't really backed it up. He's been 3-4 lengths off them, but from a 2 draw, you can never leave out Richard Fourie. A linger longer. Conditions might suit this horse now that there's a headwind blowing. Also solid form line coming out of that same dawn of a new era, and then Brendan James form line. And then the favourite, Captain Casanova, is a really progressive horse, but unfortunately he got lumped 8-pound penalty, and that's a real big one. He beat Narcos, who came out and won again after the next start. So the form line is there. He's a very progressive horse, and he might just be ahead of the handicapper, but 8 pounds is 8 pounds, and it opens the field up. So pick 6, 3, 4, 5, 60s.
Yeah, Narcos winning and closing off the pick 6 last week, but number 4, Captain Casanova, Grant mentioning that the handicapper may have just pushed him up a bit too much in the ratings, but you'll never know. You get these horses that can raise their game to the next level when they arrive in Fairview, because you look at this horse, I mean, he's already a 2-time winner on the surface after relocating, so how much more to come from number 4, Captain Casanova, and you're going to have to be the judge there. 3, 4, 5, and 6 seem to be the numbers for Grant Paddock. Then we're going to close things off in race number 8, Grant. Always, for me, the most exciting race on the card, because I look forward to always trying to grab that quartet with Very little success, I must add, of late. 1,200 meters, merit-weighted 68 handicap. The betting here, number 4, 4-1, 5, 7-1, 6, 7-1, 7 and 8-1. 9, Charlie Malone. First run, Gavin Smith. There's some fair form lines from the Cape. 33-10. And then we await a jockey for number 12, Persistence. Devon Ashby not riding. So, 2 questions, Grant. How many horses for the place accumulator? And give me 2 roving bankers for the quartet.
Place accumulator 4, 5, and 7. And your 2 roving bankers, number 7, Cool Runnings, and number 4, On the Road Again. Tricky kind of a race. Obviously, it's the last. No, it's always the tricky race in the last at Fairview. On the road again, conditions are going to suit. Even though I think it's a furlong too short for him, with the headwind, he'll be running on very strongly. Definitely into the quartet. So respect for certainly Longsword, holding solid form. He's behind Cool Runnings. He's a bit of a weight turnaround, but I still think Cool Runnings really enjoys the poly track, and he's actually my first pick. I think he's 7 or 8-1. There's some decent value. Charlie Malone, one thing about these Cape Town horses, they normally battle to go without kind of a pace on the poly track, because we don't do the speeds that they're used to from draw 11. I think he's going to battle. Probably, I can put him in the back end of Corsets with Persistence, but as I say, they'll probably be running on late. But I'm going Cool Runnings, On the Road Again, and Sir Nihal Longsword.
Just a quick comment on the horse number 2, Ready to Fly, because what grabs me is the way he finished last time out. He made up 7 lengths over the final 400 in a time of 21.7 seconds. And now 1,200 meters, headwind, a horse that we know that goes 1,600 meters. Could she be a factor here, the daughter of Gimme the Green Light?
I spoke to the yard, and they're expecting a decent run. I just don't think it's the right kind of a race for her, 60 kilos, and against the boys. When she gets into a mile against the fillies in her own category, she's going to be worth a bet. That I can guarantee you. The 2 draw doesn't really, she's going to be coming from off the pace, because they're going to rock and roll in this race. They always do. Jockeys tend to want to get the hot water in the shower first. So I'd wait for her to run against the girls over a mile, then we can have a bet on that one, Dees. But she'll be running on.
Fair comment there with number 2, Ready to Fly, who will be running on. So, Grant, let's recap and give us your bet that you've given for the show.
All right, Dees, my best bet, race 1, number 3, Launch Code. My value bet, race 6, number 5, Grew of Ice. And then my suggested bet is the bipot, where we go first leg, banker 3, by 1, 2, and 5, by 3, 4, 6, and 14, by 3 and 7, by 1, 5, and 9, by 2, 3, and 5.
I've just worked that perm out. It works out to 216 rand. 3 times 4 is 12, times 2 is 24, times 3 is 72, times 3. Yep, 216 rand. You can take that for 108 rand. Will give you 50%, and hopefully you can multiply off. As always, Grant, it's been an absolute pleasure, and hopefully your great form continues this Friday.
Yeah, thank you, Dees. It's going to be difficult, but we're holding thumbs. Hopefully we just have a decent day's racing.
Always a pleasure chatting to Grant Paddock on behalf of the entire team at Gallop TV. Grant Paddock, myself, Dees Dynan. It's the start of the weekend. It's Friday. It's racing in Gqeberha at Fairview, where we're on the poly track for 8 races. Hopefully it turns out to be a wonderful day for you. From myself, Dees Dynan, and the team, until we meet again, you take care.